Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This is probably the last video in the series regarding preparing the Discovery for the trip to Greece. And in this video I am going to be walking you through the spare parts, the tools and some of the fluids I take with me for this adventure. And I will also try to show you where I have stored everything, because if you have seen my last video, you might be aware that I have a sleeping platform in the trunk which takes up a lot of space, so there isn't much space available to store other things like spare tools and this kind of stuff. So I am going to be showing you some of the tricks I have done to ensure I can take everything I want with me. I will walk you through the tools, some of the spare parts, and that's about it really. This part of the video and the intro were filmed on a completely different day because I lost the second part footage of the previous video. However, I think this is a better opportunity to show you what I will be taking with me, because this is the next day after me arriving back in Cyprus from Greece. So I still have everything in the car and I have added a few stuff since I filmed the previous video. So spoiler alert, the disco has made it back. All of this is Greek dirt. It has done great, but that's not the point of this video. It is the point of the next video. In this one we are going to be going through the things I have took with me to ensure that my trip goes smoothly even if something does go wrong. Now back here, as you can see, I have left the pink sheets, but ignore those. Aside from the tools I have taken out of here, which are down here, I am going to show them to you in a bit. In the back I have a suction gun, just in case I had to add oil to the diffs or to the transfer box or to the gearbox. I don't have any leaks from those components, but you never know what might happen on a long trip. And with me I also have some one-shot grease, because my left swivel hub is leaking. The leak wasn't excessive, but I thought why not take one with me. It doesn't take any space, it doesn't weigh much, so I just put these two things in here just to be safe. Now right here I have a normal socket set, a second socket set, and in here I have most of the tools I have taken with me. I have an old ball joint just in case, because I knew that I was going to be driving through a lot of dirt roads. I have hose clamps, a hammer, of course, always, and in here I have all the possible sizes of tools that I might need on an old Land Rover. And I also have some o-ring picks, because you never know when you might need them. A cutter can always be handy, of course, tie wraps, screwdrivers, because these are long ones. They can be used both as pry bars and also as screwdrivers. Some tape, a fire extinguisher, a second ball joint. I know this is a bit excessive, but I had them so I took them. And the 54 millimeter wheel bearing tool. I think this is very important if you're going on a Land Rover trip, because the wheel bearings on these things tend to get loose, especially if you have big tires. So I did take the tool with me, and as you will see in here I also have some spare wheel bearings. Aside from the coolant right here, I have this breed part bag which I have filled with spare parts. In here I have two wheel bearing sets, which include the wheel bearing seal and everything you need to change a wheel bearing. I have the hose for the intercooler, because mine looks very old and I was afraid that it might let go, so I took that with me. Some o-rings, a clutch pump. I know this is a bit excessive, but I have had 2 clutch pumps fail on the Prado, so in my mind it is something that can definitely fail, and if it does fail it will leave you stranded, so I took one with me. Plenty of seals. These are for the transfer box and for the axles, because I have one that is slightly leaking, so I took these with me. These are also excessive, but they also don't take any space, so I took them with me just to feel a bit safer. And yeah, that's about it. In here I have another set of wheel bearings. Inside the car I have stored my antifreeze right there, and back here I have a 5-liter bottle of oil, engine oil. In the engine bay I have tied down these 1-liter cans of diff oil or gear oil, and right here I have some brake fluid. Everything has stayed where I left it, so I didn't touch my tools except from the sockets, because the rear shock mount back here decided to come loose. But other than that, that was a very simple and quick fix. I just tightened the bolt back down. Other than that, the disco has done great, and I am going to cover the whole trip in the next video. So yeah, that's about it. I didn't take a lot of things with me. Some of them might have been unnecessary, like the seals, but because I have had a few leaks with the transfer box and with the front axle, I thought I'd take them with me just in case. Of course, this was a 10-day trip through Greece. I did 2,400 kilometers. If you are planning on doing a trip through more difficult tracks, you might also want to take spare axle shafts with you and other similar parts that tend to fail when you do tough tracks. I wasn't planning on doing tough tracks, I only did dirt roads, so there was no reason in carrying all that extra weight. That being said, if you are planning on doing a trip with your Discovery or with any other 4x4 and you have any questions regarding the tools and the spare parts you want to take with you, please leave them in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.